Across the street from the Stanford Shopping Center, Palo Alto's oldest park still stands after nearly 100 years in the community. El Camino Park was established as an attractive entry into the city, but it's become a hangout for the city's homeless. Park regular Gary Gosline Jr. sheds light on his fondness for El Camino Park.
I love this park because the only park I know of in Palo Alto where I'm allowed to drink.
The city of Palo Alto began leasing the land for El Camino Park from Stanford University in 1915, just 1 year after the park was established. The university allows open alcoholic containers on its properties, making the park attractive to those who are nursing an alcohol habit with nowhere to do it but in public spaces.
I have spinal cerebellum ataxia, and the only people who live in my world are people who drink. Everyone else is in the grave.
At a meeting on September 28th, the Parks and Recreation Commission agreed to ask the City Council for funding in hopes of using the momentum of the El Camino Park Reservoir project to create a more community-friendly atmosphere in the park, a park that Commission Chair Daria Walsh describes as plagued with problems.
And so we had a noticed meeting there, and as we started our meeting, the fire department was called. Somebody was passed out near the bathroom, in the parking lot.
The Commission hopes to improve the areas that are already in the park, with lights for evening recreation and better fencing in the fields. They also hope to develop new spaces like walking paths and dog owner recreation areas. But funding for the improvements is scarce. The El Camino Park Reservoir project, which will place a supply of water underneath the fields in case of emergencies, only has a budget for rebuilding the park after the reservoir is in place. The improvements that the Parks and Recreation Commission are proposing do not qualify for those funds. With that in mind, the Commission is turning to the City Council for help. But Walsh is not optimistic and understands that the city is under pressure from the economic downturn.
So one of the things we want to make sure is, even if we don't get the funds for this, that we at least put in the infrastructure that will allow us to do improvements to those areas later.
Until funding becomes available, many park patrons, like John Foster, who plays for the Adult Community Softball League, will continue to use the recreational area and find it enjoyable, despite the homeless and despite the unkempt lawns.
There's lots of great parks in Palo Alto. It's nice. This one's dedicated to these two things. Sometimes you get a multi-use park. You get all sorts of things going on at the park, and you can't do what you want to do. It's nice that this just has remained softball and soccer.
The Parks and Recreation Commission is seeking to reestablish the park as what Walsh calls one of the city's main parks. But in this economy, the Commission is going to face an uphill battle when it comes to funding improvements in a park that every occupant of Palo Alto has claim to. For the Peninsula Press, this has been Whitney Mountain reporting.